good afternoon and good evening to another round of GPVWC Sim Racing. My name is Matthew Chuggy Chirgwin, and joining me to commentate on round 3 of the GPVWC Formula Challenge is Mr. Philip Morby.
Good evening all. Looks like a fantastic weather at the moment in qualifying.
It is indeed, and also joining us on cameras is Mr. Cameron Brewster, so say hello sir, if you're feeling brave.
Hello, hello.
And welcome to you all for, as Phil has just mentioned, a lovely day here at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona in the lovely sunny Spain. This course is a 4.6 kilometre true test of will and of nerve, originally built in 1991 and oddly hosting the start and finish of the Olympic bicycle time trial race. This is traditionally used as a testing track for all sorts of forms of motorsport, but today we are here for round 3 of the GPVWC Formula Challenge World Championship, and with this course we'll truly test all of our drivers' ability with 3 very different sectors which will really reward different approaches and setup, and will really provide us, I'm sure, with plenty of action. Hector Burlac and Fran Lopez were our winners last year, and that set them up very nicely respectively for a good campaign. And with tyre wear right on the limit, who will walk that razor's edge, keep their head and make it to the finish. With 2 races, our second race having a reverse grid, and with still actually a very close field. Just looking in qualifying at this moment in time, our top 13 separated by just half a second. We're in yet again, I'm sure, for a superb round of racing. Would you agree, Phil?
Yeah, brilliant another evening coming up. It's R03 currently on top. I mean, we're talking 400ths of a second, and then another 400ths back is third place. So I mean, I'm running down to the top 20, even less than a second. So looking really tight at the moment with just over 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's going to be truly, I think, one to savour as things currently stand. Practice equally close. Unfortunately, we did have a few server issues. Hopefully they will stay away, and we'll be able to bring you 2 great races. First of all, also, we should, of course, mention our race, or our last round in Bahrain. Unfortunately, we didn't bring you a broadcast on that one, but how interestingly things change. Much like round 1 was very much dominated by Rasmus Salo, R03 truly dominated in that race, completely almost flipped the race results from Melbourne. Now we've got a 1-point gap between Salo and Strawn, our 2 early leaders. And as Phil just mentioned a second ago, Strawn currently holds provisional pole by just 400ths of a second. I'm just currently scrolling through the grid. There is Rasmus. He's currently sitting in P6. As, oh dear me, he's just had a spin through turn 9 there.
He lost his front wing.
Good spot. So I didn't quite see what obviously lost his front wing there, but that's going to cost him precious time recovering to the pits. Really, that's one place you do not want to find yourself. Very quick corner, blind on entry. And goodness me, that's going to cost him some serious time there. So, unfortunate for Rasmus there. He's just recovering onto track as everyone else is just making their way around a very congested track at this point.
Yeah, it's very busy. I mean, the last sector there's a lot of cars. There's a bit of gap in sector 2, and obviously that's where you'll currently find R03 putting the laps in. Oh, Chirgwin has just gone top.
Chirgwin, star of race 1, star of race 2 as well, actually, in Melbourne. Really stamping his authority, and yes, he's gone provisional pole by 200ths of a second there. So great lap from Chirgwin there in the Team Proline car. In fact, both Team Prolines in the top 4 right now. Yeah,
I mean, they're doing a bit of an ice-cold racing sandwich there with Strawn and Nielsen in second and third. Just seeing where the other team battles are happening. You've got Salo's just made himself back into the pits in 9th, and his teammate is just 1 place behind him in 10th. Any other tight fights going on up and down? Teammates? Deltic racing together, and backmarker Brigade are together. Backs near the back of the grid, we've got Deltic 2, Backmarker 2, Katana 2, and then Arrow International Racing 2.
Lovely stuff, all sorts of 2x2 action. Clearly might indicate actually a bit of collaboration perhaps on setup, who knows. But yes, good to see that everyone is, well, at the moment, avoiding trouble. We've got a couple of quick cars going around on the laps. We did just have in practice a few moments ago, Scott Beresford was clearly on the pace in the racing team Schroten car. He was on the march, and he's looking like he's on a quick one at the moment, just going through sector 3. A real diverse sector 3, compared to all the others on the lap. Very slow. You can't really get any advantage from aerodynamics, and running through the long turn 16 onto the start-finish straight. arguably the most important corner on the course. He's done that one quite nicely, so we'll have to see if he improves. He does indeed, and where's that put him? Goodness me, he's put him on pole. Lovely stuff. So, excellent lap there from Scott, and you will be very pleased with that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, he will indeed. I'm just kind of looking. We've got Eric Strachan currently on an out lap, hoping we can pick him up, and I can do a lap on board of him. He comes around the final corner, so I can talk through Catalunya. So yeah, very long. That last corner, very sweeping corner, going down this very long straight. He is. Who's got Valkajavi ahead of him? Hopefully, won't hold him up too far as we go to turn 1. You've got these two sweeping corners, quite fast actually for first corners in the calendar, and then again a very fast long turn 3. You keep turning and just drift out nice and easy. Still, Valkajavi is going to get his way. He's going to let him by. He has, very nice. And then a slightly tighter turn 4. Again, tuck in early and just let the car drift out, not too far because you need to get back onto that right hand side as quickly as possible. Ready for turn 5, downhill, left-hander. A bit of a lock up there. It should be okay. Turn 6 here, flat out, you forget about it. And he's 2 tenths up in that first sector, so he's doing a good lap here. Turn 7 and 8 coming up. Again, 8, you don't really much of a turn. Now, turn 9, you kind of uphill, right-hander. Don't drift too far to the left. There is a little bit of runoff there, which he does make use of. We've got this long back straight towards turn 10, heavy braking. He's still up currently by 2 tenths after going through sector 2. Then we've got this tricky final sector where the corners come one after another. 11 into 12, a long right-hander, and just kind of wanting to put the power on and getting ready for quite heavy braking into 13, right-hander, nice degrees. Get the car back onto the right-hand side. Turn 14's already up on you. Then you're already lining up for turn 15, and don't go too wide because you need a good exit onto turn 16, and that is a lap of Catalunya.
Yeah, very tidy one. He's been up all lap. Can he convert it? As he heads for the line, yes he can, and he goes pole by 2 tenths of a second. While we're on board of that lap, Lars Brugman and Sandeep Choda both took provisional pole away from Scott Beresford. So our top 5, as it stands, is Strachan from Brugman, Choda from Beresford, and rounding out the top 5 is Robert Wiesemuller. So we've got 1 Ice Cold, 2 Team Pro Lines, or I beg your pardon, 1 Team Pro Line, 2 Mad Cape Racing Team cars, and a Racing Team Schroten car. So we're a nice little mix of various teams and drivers, and everyone very close together. So this should be an interesting end to qualifying. Who's going to go out and try and do the business in the dying second? We'll have to find out. But it's one thing I wanted to point out. I mean, you called it out perfectly. Quite a few of these corners, very, very deceptive. You look like you can go into them very, very quickly, and they're corners where the apex is either very early, very late. You just have to wait, and get on the power, or be very, very patient and wait for that apex to come along and just floor it out as best as you can, because there are plenty of corners here where there's a long straight following on from it, and you're going to lose valuable time, valuable seconds, if you really get those corners wrong, and it will make you open to attack, and obviously you'll have all sorts of overtaking opportunity to have to defend off at that point. But a lovely lap there from Strachan. By the looks of it, I think he's going to be bringing it back in. He's definitely taking it slow and letting some cars by as he's making his way through Sector 3 now. So,
Rasmus Salo, in the meantime, got himself up to 2nd place there for Basfix. That's not a too bad job. His teammate is currently 13th.
Yep, good spot there. So Salo clearly feeling with it. He's just a 10th behind, and these two in the very early going of this season really putting their mark down on the championship. Points difference between Salo and Strachan is a single point in Salo's favour. And it's going to be a great fight if we've already got 2 contenders this early on. Very evenly matched, and I'm sure by the looks of it we've got very, very, very close times between these two at this point in time. And goodness me, Salo on his 2nd flying lap improves. He's now just 700th slower there than Strachan around this 4.6 kilometre circuit.
So be his final lap as well.
Yep, he's critically across the line there with plenty of time to go. We've got a final 50 seconds of the session to go, and he's gone well wide. Oh dear. That will surely not count if he continues the lap and improves, because he was all 4 over the white line. Very tricky corner there. Almost a little bit of a marble effect running around in the WSS cars last week, just sucking you wide, just taking you away from that nice tight inside line. But yeah, he fell foul of that. He's apparently quite a little way down, and I think he's realised that, and he might be backing out of that one. So a pity there for Rasmus, but a solid 2nd place at this point in time. So keep an eye on if anyone is on the march.
Wiesemuller just spun out. He's currently in 7th place, and he called it off, so that's him finished. We got a bit of a jumper. That was Hammer for Drake up to 8th place there. So, I mean, we currently have the top 20 drivers less than a second, and the top 35 less than 2 seconds.
Very, very close. I think Strawn's on a lap. He's just coming around turn 16 now. This will be his final effort. The time has expired. The drivers will be seeing the checkered flag. Can he improve? No, he cannot. So he is now on provisional pole by 700th of a second. And we're just waiting for our drivers to come in and complete their lap. So we're going to have to keep an eye and see if anyone is on the march. If they're in for a good final sector.
Hoekstra is the first person. Hoekstra is going to come around and complete a lap. The next person to come around, he's got a bit of a queue behind him as well. Is he going to improve? Oh, he gets a place up to 15th. Nicely done.
Good stuff from Hoekstra there. We had a few other cars crossing line now. Oscar, didn't quite see if he improved or not, but he's come across and finished his lap. Waring coming across the line now. He has improved. Lewis McGlade there for Kajala. He's got himself up into 3rd place right there at the dying breath. Goodness me, only 800ths away there from pole position. I think a little bit of slipstreaming there was helping him out. So lovely luck there from Lewis. Saw during practice for him this during the last few weeks. Unfortunately, had a little bit of a skywards trip as he was going through, I think, turns 7 and 8, catching a curve. Hopefully that won't happen to him there. It would appear that Strawn has actually stopped on the track. He's not on a lap, and he's just escaped. There we go. But a few cars having to dodge him there as they are completing their laps. So pretty much everyone now should have completed their laps.
I think we got Batala. Is he coming in, or is he? Nope, he's coming in. So I think that is everyone.
Right. Well, we have got our order as it stands right now. Just had it confirmed. Eric Strawn is on pole position from Lars Brugman. Didn't see that one. Great lap from Lars. He's in 2nd place now for Mad Cape. 600ths behind Eric Strawn. On P3, starting on the 2nd row, will be Rasmus Salo for Bastovic. Lewis McGlade with a great lap for Kajala will be starting in P4. Scott Beresford for Racing Team Schroten will be starting in P5. And Sandeep Choda for Team Proline will be rounding out the top 6. So, goodness me. We actually have in the top 6 different drivers, of course, but in 6 different teams. So that is fascinating. All very, very close indeed. Goodness me. Well, we were looking at practice just earlier, and it was very, very close, very, very interesting. And by the looks of it, qualifying has delivered that as well. So excellent stuff from the drivers. I'm sure we're going to be in for a good first race.
Probably a shout out to Chupenic there. He's in 7th place, just behind his teammate. Team Proline's not quite side by side, rows 3 and 4. So yeah, good call from them. Just seeing who else down the grid. I'm just seeing if we've got any teams together. I don't actually think we do now. I think we managed to split everybody up. Oh no, Cosmo Autosport. Richard Coxon and Hansko Mebius, 21st and 22nd for Cosmo Autosport there.
Excellent stuff. And if you have any thoughts and feelings about tonight and the racing and everything else, we're of course very modern, very social media-esque. So feel free to tweet in using hashtag GPVWC, and we will. If you have any questions, feel free to pose those to us. Any comments, and we'll give you shout-outs. And well, we might have a discussion. Who knows? We've got plenty of racing to do and to see. And if you spot anything, feel free to let us know. And also worthwhile pointing out that, of course, our drivers as well, they do their bit in terms of showing their perspectives on things. I believe Eric Strawn himself will be streaming today. He's not streaming tonight, says Cameraman Extraordinaire. Thank you very much for that. But plenty of community interaction with race perspectives and all sorts of good stuff. So plenty of community action going on as well. All good stuff to see. So, very close qualifying. We were expecting that. The weather is a bit of an unknown. Certainly last week it was quite drizzly and rainy for WSS, but it never actually materialised in the race. Tyre wear is supposedly an issue. How would you play this one, Phil? Would you hope for perhaps a little weather joker to come along and spice things up, or would you go conservative?
See, I always play the safe game whenever I'm racing, so I would be more kind of... Well, I say safe game, I would be taking a pit stop whatever happens, but just hoping that the rain kind of times itself for my stop, and we're going flat out with the tyres that you start with the idea of having to quickly change if you need to, or hoping for those wet weather tyres so you can just put them on at the right point.
Yep, I would agree with that. The trick with these races, of course, is if you make a mistake early on, you lose a front wing or something in the very early going, that is your race highly compromised. exposed. And so to a degree, you have to be very, very conservative, very, very safe with your approach, particularly in the early laps with so many cars as well. And certainly turns 1, 2, and 3 round here, and turns 4 are not particularly overtaking opportunities with so many people in close proximity. But you never know. If drama were to lose the front wing and weather comes along, you might be able to play a blinder, stick some wet tyres or who knows what else on, and counter the field. There was, of course, Monza last year where Petter Burlak went completely counter to everyone else, stayed with dry tyres in the rain, and carved his way through the field while everyone else had to pit. So sometimes those calls really do pay off, and you do reap the reward. So we'll have to see if anyone's feeling brave, goes with a 1-stop, or there is a quite real possibility that people may be having to seriously look at 2 stops. So, or I beg your pardon, 1 stop. Sorry. So.
It's just reminded me of my nightmare at Fuji Speedway in the touring cars, where I think I changed for wets as it stopped raining and changed back onto dry as it started raining again.
Dear. Yes, of course. These very very marginal calls that only get a fraction of a second to decide upon. Can be the beginning and the end of everything in a race, unfortunately. And we'll have to see if anyone's going to make that inspired call. Now. Other racing, of course, going on in GPVWC this week. We have the other Career Ladder Series, which will be running this week. We have Super Cup tomorrow and Super League all running here at the Circuit de Catalunya. But also running here today is the Open Series, a feeder series here to the Career Ladder. And not to jump this one on you, Phil, but have you been keeping an eye on what's been going on in Open Series tonight?
I'm going to have to be honest, I actually haven't been able to tonight. I'm really sorry. When we were trying to sort out the server issues, we were so kind of keeping our minds and making sure this can happen, broadcast can happen this evening. I didn't actually see what happened in the Downforce Radio Open Series. I am very sorry.
That's quite all right. So, of course, Open Series, and in fact, this is just a fair point to shout out. It's brilliant here at the GPVWC because there is plenty of opportunity to get yourself out there, get yourself noticed. The Open Series is one of many mediums to come along, have a race, and have some fun. We have open wheel varieties, as you're seeing here tonight. We've got tin top action in the form of the ITC, the International Touring Cup, which will be kicking off shortly, as well as WSS, the World Sports Series. And also kicking off next week will be the World GT endurance racing on R Factor 2, that one is. So plenty of racing and action to get involved with. And if it at all takes your fancy, feel free to head on over to gpvwc.com, sign on up and get involved. And there is always plenty to get involved with, I think it's fair to say. And, you could be on this grid in the imminent future. So as everyone is now just finishing their warm-up, we've got 10 seconds to go. Anyone you would suggest people keep an eye out for, Phil, as we are preparing to go into race 1?
Well, I think a star of our show at Melbourne was Jupenik. Starting in 7th place today, he could have some fun. It'll be whether he can get past his teammate quickly without causing too much of a hassle, and then he can really go and attack those guys at the front.
And hopefully, I'm hoping first of all that Salo and Strawn have a great scrap. We had some superb racing from them in the last 2 rounds. But I would say keep an eye on Scott Beresford. He's been very quick. He's in a good position to...
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Of a joker in the pack.
Raining.
And speaking of jokers in the pack, it is raining. Only just a little bit of drizzle, nowhere near enough for a wet compound tyre. Who's going to be brave? Who's going to stick with the dries? Who's going to gamble? We'll have to wait and see. It's actually getting drier at this point in time on the racing line. So I would suggest that everyone should probably be starting on the drier tyre. We'll have to see if anyone's going to be brave. Well, drivers now taking their positions on the grid. And while we'll go around on the formation lap, we will talk you through your grid for race 1 here at round 3 of the GPVWC Formula Challenge, Circuit de Catalunya. So starting in pole position will be Eric Strawn, Ice Cold Racing. He is followed by Lars Brugman for Mad Cape Racing Team. In P3 will be Rasmus Salo for Bastovic, and following him on the second row will be Lewis Bourget for Kyala Racing. Scott Beresford for Racing Team Choda will be starting in P5. He is followed by Sandeep Choda, Team Proline, and the second Team Proline car of Ben Stupenik will be starting in P7. Robert Wiesenmuller is the second Mad Cape Racing Team driver this evening. He'll be starting in P8 with Ballant Hammer for Drake starting just behind him. Then rounding out the top 10 will be Jesper Nielsen for Ice Cold Racing.
And in 11th place, we've got Patrick Wanimula for Triple 20. Tommy Ajala, Racing Team Shroton. He had to take a bit of a penalty from Bahrain. That's why he's down in 12th. Tobias Olsen, Bastovic Grand Prix, 13th, with Drake Racing's James Kirk in 14th. Whoopi Hilstra for Epic Racing in 15th, with Jeffrey Furnier, Downforce iZone Racing in 16th. Tamiu Cabrera, I've probably pronounced that wrong, apologies, for Viking Racing in 17th. Thomas Jacobs, Dogecoin Racing in 18th. And then we've got the two Cosmos of Richard Coxon and Hansco Mebius in 19th and 20th.
Coming in P21 tonight is Andrew Waring. He's driving for... He's driving for Centurion Grand Prix. Edmund Batella for Kyala Racing, the second Kyala car. He will be starting in P22. He is followed by Mike Trout for Epic Racing. Adam Osger will be starting tonight in P24 for Deltic Racing. And in P25 for YTF1 will be Timu Toika. P26 for Scuderia Basilica will be Bruno Souza Ferreira. The second Dogecoin Racing car of Ben Roran will be starting in P27 with Victor Silva for Centurion, starting P28. Ollie Pelkinen and Sam Jones round out the 14th row, with Sam Jones actually starting in the pit lane.
Oh, good spot there. We've got Valko Jarvi for YTF1 in 31st. Stefan McCready for Deltic Racing in 32nd. Andreas Walters, back from Marker Brigade, not at the back, 33rd. Got Ben Willis, 34th, Zedric Racing. Simon Smith, also at the back Marker Brigade, also not at the back, in 35th. Mike Bell in 36th for Arrow International Racing. Andreas Ruthoff for Triple 20 in 37th. Andreas Pestovs, Zedric Racing in 38th. Jerry Bubacha, I'm hoping, Scuderia Basilia in 39th. And rounding out the 40th place, Justinas Rubeles. Now, I'm just going to point before we start, offline, it's still a bit wet, so you don't want to be overtaking too far offline.
Yep, indeed so, and the trick with that offline section, as you call it, it is wet online. But anyway, we've got 3 lights, we have 4 lights, and we are racing. Great start from Brugman. He's got the drag there on Strawn. Can he get the move done before the start, before the pit lane? He pretty much has. Brugman takes the lead. Pretty standard start from Salo there. He's following in P3, and we've got 3 ride down into turn 1. Who's that being brave on the brakes? Oh, goodness me, there's contact. I want to say that's between the 2 Proline teammates. Everyone, by the looks of it, just about getting through turns 2 and turns 3. Cleanly good stuff as we're running around turn 3 now. A good start there from everyone. Not too many.
Up to 4th. Yeah, Jupenik up to 4th and Sandeep up to 5th. So although Jupenik passes his teammate, a bit of
Hammer, Hammer just unsighted a bit there. He's kept it together, but just ran into the back of, I think that might have been Nielsen.
Just trying to see Dogecoin guys together now. Thomas Jacobs has dropped back a little bit. He's fighting Toika there, 22nd, 23rd. No spinners at the moment. All handling okay. Oh, we've got one off. We've got Souza Ferreira off at turn 4. And Rubeles as well. I think he may have hit the barrier.
That's unfortunate for those two. Everyone thankfully making their way into sector 2, going around turn 9, as everyone is still
Jupenik
line of
going down
storm.
for second. Jupenik up for second place, and he's got it.
Good spot there on the leader, Zupenik. Lovely move there down into turn 10. A prime overtaking opportunity. I think perhaps potentially catching Strawn a little bit napping. So our leader is Lars Brugman for Mad Cape. He's followed by Zupenik in P2 with Eric Strawn and Rasmus Salo, our early championship protagonists in hot pursuit. We run round turn 16 for the first time. We are on lap 2 of 17. A long old way to go yet, but a pretty solid start from everyone. We just have a few cars. I think that might be someone spinning around turns 15 and 16 down at the back, but now recovering. But we've got a bit of a field spread starting to build, as we've now got Zupenik and Strawn for second and third. Strawn having a little cheeky look there, trying to incite Zupenik through turn 3, and we've got a bit more action further down as well. I think that is between Zupenik. Goodness me, excellent move. Superb move by the sounds of it. Great spot from cameraman extraordinaire. Zupenik round the outside.
Yeah, Brugman went a little bit wide in turn 3. Managed to get him there.
Goodness me, wow, great move from Zupenik. He finds himself in the lead. Great stuff for the Team Proline driver. Unfortunately, we've had our first retirement of the evening. That's Lewis McGlade, who was running very well in the top 10. Didn't quite see what happened to him, but highly important there for Lewis. Talking back for race 2. As everyone else is making their way through. I think that's Pestovs just exiting the pit lane. As I think that might be Warren, who's gone off in turn 9, or is it? No.
Salo and Chodo are fighting each other for 5th and 6th at the moment. Salo behind him looks a little bit quicker, having a go for it. Just trying to see at the front. Brugman's keeping with Jupenik. It's going to be interesting to watch them down this back straight in a minute. Main straight. Jupenik a little bit sideways there. Going to the last corner, he's going to lose a bit of speed. I think Brugman's going to have him down this long. Yeah, I think he's already going to have him.
Yeah, this is the critical part of this race course. You've got this huge long straight, one of the longest that we will race on this year, and Brugman making full effect of that. As we've got a few cars. Oh no, we're fine actually there. As Brugman has got that move nicely done through 1 and through 2. But look at Zupenek. Brugman left the door open, and Zupenek's gone, thank you very much. And Brugman, he's found himself on that horrible sort of faux marble surface as Weisenmuller. Weisenmuller for Madcape, he's got past Strawn as well. Where's Salo? He's dropped down to 6th. Goodness me. All sorts of action.
Strawn and Salo, I think, playing the long game here. I mean, even this early on, you do not want to get a DNF.
That's a very good point. Yes, these two are, of course, our early championship protagonists. Yes, as you say, consistency is key and will win championships. So perhaps a little bit of wise head driving here. But as we are coming now into Sector 3 for the 3rd time, our leader is Ben Zupenek, the Team Proline. Superb turn of events for that. And the Team Proline drivers running line astern, blocking out the podium. Everyone very close, actually. Field spread between the top 10. Hardly anything at all. Just a couple of seconds, well, just under 3.5 seconds. Whoopie Hoekstra currently rounding out the top 10. Great to see that there hasn't really been a bolt at this point in time from anyone. Perhaps because it's a little wet offline, people just being a little conservative, you know, not wanting to push and have a mistake and fall off. But great early driving, as I think we're going to have a move here between Hoekstra and Olsen for
Zupenek and Brugman for the lead as well. Yeah, Brugman's got him. Is Chirgwin going to come back? He is. It's his teammate. You can't do that. And Strawn goes up to 2nd, takes both of them.
Little good bit of opportunist driving, and yeah, as you say, who's the
gets
first
past
person?
Robert as well. Chodra is up to 4th.
Yeah, who is the first person you don't hit? Your teammate. Goodness me. That will have raised, I'm sure, a little tension there between those two. But yeah, unfortunately, I think they thought there was a space. Oh, Choda! Oh, he's gone for a late one. Just about enough space left. A little bit of a touch. Thankfully, no one spun round. But Brugman, I think, saying, "Oi, I'm not having that. Thank you very much." And Weisenmuller's benefited from that. So Choda, a cheeky move there to try and get P3, and it's cost him 2 places. So that's unfortunate for him. So yes, Brugman recovering.
Yes, it gives a 4/10 gap now between 1st and 2nd, so Zupenek got a little bit of breathing room, much more than what he used to have, so he'll be happy with that. Just looking at, who's this? This is Salo.
A very late lunge there. That was very, very late on the brakes, very, very desperate. Thankfully, no serious contact. Who's done a rain dance? We've got some rain, so here we go. The gods sort of decided to really play a joker in the pack. It's only light rain at the moment, but this could become very heavy very quickly. There have been showers in the area, so we'll have to see who's going to make that brave strategy call. It's certainly going to be all eyes to the front, I feel, as Zupenek, who is our leader as we enter lap 5 of 17, crosses the start-finish line. He does now have a half-second gap. Strawn nowhere near in the slipstream, and Zupenek unchallenged down into turn 1.
Salo's kind of been 6th, 7th and 8th fighting each other. Well, it's quite close together there, guys. Keep it nice and fair. Yeah, just about. A bit of shoving around. Salo's going to push Chodra wide here. Just pushing off the track, and fair enough. And that Chodra's lost a few places now, down to 9th.
You have to be careful. You must leave racing room. Just going to see if I can get a quick look at that on the replay.
Oh, Chodra's going round. He's just about. Oh, he's just missed the wall. But he's lost another place there to Tobias Olsen.
They were starting. It's not wet enough yet for wets. It's this horrible sort of middle ground where really.
Rebellis just decided it is, and Rebellis has come in for wets. But I think he's going to regret that, and he is already down in 38th, so he might as well make a go at it. So far, still only 1 retirement.
Strawn is really reaping the rewards in these conditions. I think he may be running a little more wing than Zupenek, but he looks far more composed. Zupenek going defensive through 9, but he's run a little wide. Strawn up the inside, nicely done. That will be a signed, sealed and delivered move. Or Zupenek's coming back.
Also went off.
Zupenek coming back. They're side by side into 13. This isn't really an overtaking opportunity. Strawn has the inside for the chicane. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. How are these two side by side? Superb racing from these two. Goodness me. I would never ever thought in a million years.
It's raining heavily.
It's really raining. Yes,
so now it is proper rain now, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on Justinas Rebelez, who's currently right down in 38th, but he has already changed the wet, so as long as he hasn't ruined them in the 4 corners he's been out on.
That 3 right down into turn 1 calls out cameraman extraordinaire, and Strawn has been, he's played a blinder there, he's got himself nicely ahead, he covered the line. But Zupanik, look at this. He's so much quicker through the faster corners. Perhaps he's just got that balance absolutely spot on. His front wing right under the gearbox of
They're
Strawn.
struggling now, though. They're starting to struggle a little bit from this rain. It's still too dry, really, for wets, but they're struggling to put the power down out of these corners. Zupanik definitely is.
Yeah, Zupanik, though, has got a better run through turn 5, going through 6, into 7. Oh, lovely stuff. Space left by both. And they're now running up towards turn 9. I'm sure Zupanik's going to be under immediate pressure, though, as they've
They're
run
all going
through
to be.
Campasa.
Talk over you, the Mad Cape guys of 3rd and 4th have suddenly caught right behind this. So suddenly you've got 4 of them kind of really going for less than a second between them.
Cool, blimey, Zupanik leaving space, lovely stuff. Not chopping on changing, Weisenmuller having a little wiggle on power. But yes, I think these two scrapping is really going to bring the field back together. It's still far too dry for wets. That may sound absolutely absurd, but the wet tyre just will not work reliably, as the slick tyre will be the faster tyre at this point in time. But everyone's starting to bottle up, I feel. Everyone's just trying to keep an eye on first and second. Where are they braking? Where are they turning? Where's the grip?
So Justinas Rebelez, who was on wets, has also retired. I think he hit the barrier, so that's him out. Sam Jones has also put the wets on to see what it's like, and it is getting heavier.
Oh, Zupanik using all the road then some, nearly running over the course limit, the white line. Strawn got that one done. Here comes Weisenmuller, and he's through turn 2. Lovely stuff, but space has been left. Weisenmuller's trying to close him out. Oh, Weisenmuller's tank slapper, turn 3. Oh, he's caught him. Well done. Good car control there.
Lost a couple of places, though.
Rather lose a couple of places than lose all of them.
Oh, and Zupanik's also done the same. Zupanik's struggling round here, this turn 4.
The wet factor, as it were. The track is not getting any more greasy. It's sort of a constant damp, which just will not allow the wet tyre to work. There's not enough water. But Strawn has taken the initiative as we are coming up to, we are just about to go over 1/3 of the race complete. It is Strawn from Zupanik from Brugman, our top 3, and this is truly fascinating to see who has got their car set up for a nice mix of conditions. At the minute, you'd have to say that's Strawn. He's starting to pull ever so slightly a gap. And keep an eye on the team, on the Mad Cape drivers. Brugman having a look round the outside. Ooh, that's going to be brave. Weisenmuller's up the inside. We've got 3 wide down into turn 11. And it looks like to me that Brugman's going to have that one done as we run through 13. We just saw 2 cars, Zupanik being one side by side through here, but the track was substantially drier. Oh, Brugman taking all of the racing room as he's quite entitled to. Zupanik's come back at him too, through 13, 14. Brugman a little
the rain's
squiggly.
getting heavier still. It is getting wetter. It's now at this point I'm starting to think that the way they're sliding around, that maybe a couple of the guys at the back have taken the wets to see what they can do. Be keeping an eye on them.
It's potentially a good move. If it continues to rain, it could be a good call. As Zupanik, unfortunately, along that back straight has been overtaken by both Mad Cape drivers. So it is now Strawn from Brugman from Weisenmuller. But at this point in time, it is still too dry, and the problem is it's not getting wet quickly. So if you were to gamble and go and get a set of wet tyres at this point, I reckon you'd burn through them before you'd get an opportunity to really reap the rewards. Zupanik coming immediately back at Weisenmuller. He's he's having a look. Weisenmuller, he's parked his car on the apex, gone, I will accelerate when I like. You'll have to wait for me. Thank you very much, Mr. Zupanik. Weisenmuller really putting the defence up. Strawn, in the meantime, he's going, I'm loving this, thank you very much. He's pulled a 1.3 second gap to second place. As we now have pretty much the top 8 all in a line going through turn 9.
This isn't good for Salo at the moment. He's currently 2.5 seconds behind Strawn, down in 6th place and really having to fight. So, that sideways, that was Hoekstra, I think, locked up and tapped Salo, but he's kind of kept the position. And,
little touch.
Yeah, but he's losing points here on this one. He may have to kind of take the loss on this one, but I'm wondering how much he wants to attack later on in the race. It's just got a bit lighter the rain now, though.
The issue will be if what's better, coming home and bringing top 10 points, or risking it all and bringing no points potentially. And I'd say Salo, I think, will be pretty happy just to sit, and with reverse grid, he'll be starting ahead of his rival, although his rival will be taking at this point in time a full hat of points. Of course, help his championship challenge. The gap between Strawn and Brugman as they cross the line is 1.2 seconds, so barely even. As our top 8 are running through turns 1 and 2, let's return or cast our eyes to the midfield. Our last point scorer at this point in time, or triple 20, is Patrick Wannemuller. And,
Coxon's out, down 35th. He's had an accident, lost a tyre. I'm just going to see a replay now.
That's unfortunate for him, but these wet conditions, it's actually ever so slightly, I would say, starting to dry up. It's the rain is starting to decrease in intensity.
Turn 9, that long right-hander, he went a little bit wide, got onto the gravel on the AstroTurf, put the power down, smacked the right-hand side of the wall, lost his tyre, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, very tricky corner, turn 9, blind on entry. You have to put complete faith in the car that it's going to stick in these kind of conditions. Anything could and, well, often does happen. But at this point in time, interestingly, Brugman, or Madcape, is the faster driver. He's taken half a second out of Strawn so far through sectors 1 and 2. This is going to be an interesting one to watch. We've got a few back markers. We've got Sam Jones getting well out of the way. Good to see.
Yeah, Sam was one of the guys in the wets. Sam on the wets doesn't work for him.
That's unfortunate, but worth a gamble. Always worth a gamble. You never know what might happen. We might get a downpour yet. Who knows? We're only coming over halfway completion at this point. Lap 9 of 17. As Strawn comes through 16, we'll have to keep an eye on the gap as they cross the start-finish. For me, the Madcake boys, definitely, they're working together, they're being quite efficient. We'll have to hope that there isn't more contact between them. Interestingly, Brugman, for me, I think he had a little move there, just go a little bit defensive, and I think Weisenmuller has noted that. They're just going to run line astern for now. So Weisenmuller looking a little more feisty at this point in time as they run through turn 3. So this is
Salo's lost a place. Salo down to 7th at the moment. Hoekstra's got ahead of him. Next up behind him is Beresford, who's having a look to see. Oh, made Salo go very defensive. Is he now going to ruin it round the? No, he's going too wide. Beresford there. Oh, he's a bit sideways as well.
So that's there is actually a line. You can take it wide through there, but I would suspect that only really works in the dry. And it most certainly isn't dry out there at this point in time. But Salo, yeah, I think caught a little bit napping there. You have to go defensive. It was a fair defensive move, but yeah, unfortunately he's lost a place. But at this point in time, I think losing a place would be the preferable option to losing all of the places. So as he runs through turn 9 there, we'll have to see if Beresford has a potential look at a move or start through turn 10. He's certainly out there. He's not close enough though. So keep an eye on that one. This is developing nicely with Olsen just behind Beresford as well.
Just seeing, so yeah, Sam Jones, I'm afraid. Alex said he was right near the back and he's made a go at it, but I think changing those wets somewhat wasn't worth it in the end.
Unfortunate. Always worth a go though. You know, if unfortunately you're not with the leading pack, do something different. And well, you did. It could have paid off what you did for him this time round.
Just watching Salo back straight.
Yeah,
he's not really pulling towards Hoekstra, is he? He's not getting the slipstream. He's too much wing, I think.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance. I mean, if the drivers, of course, were aware that there could potentially be a little bit of rain in the area, it's always a wise idea. You know, soften the car up, put a bit more wing on if you have it available, of course. It will all help you just maintain a nice, stable level of grip. And Strawn, we saw he ran a little more wing in Melbourne. He definitely is benefiting from that methodology, that approach at this point. And interestingly, he's has been able to maintain the gap to Lars Brugman from Madcape. Perhaps he's just pacing himself a bit. We are on lap 11 of 17, so we're getting on for near 2/3 complete now. He's just pacing himself, doing everything that he needs to ensure that he's going to win this race. So a good drive so far from Strawn, going on as he needs to intend to continue.
Just looking down, he's taking the final point position like he usually do. It's currently Patrick Wannemuller of Triple 20. Just in front of him, he's got Jeffrey Frenier and Balint Hammer fighting each other, Hammer and Tong, and he's just sitting back and letting that fight happen. He's got a 4-second gap to James Kirk in 16th, so he's just letting the two in front have a fight and see what happens.
Sorry to jump over you here, but we've just had a little bit of action down into turn 10. Salo, he's been able to gain a place from Hoekstra. Hoekstra going, I think, a little bit too deep into 10, and he found himself out the curb, and there's not really a great deal of tractional power out there. So Nielsen and Salo benefiting. They're up to P5 and P6 respectively. We'll have to see, actually. I think Salo is potentially maybe looking at a pass here. He's gaining now. He's got into that slipstream. The rain all but stopped. He's run onto that wet line. Oh, goodness me, look at Hoekstra. Hoekstra's come at him off on staying on the racing line. Clearly a lot more top end, it's top end speed, a little bit less wing. Hoekstra really, I think, almost catching Salo out there. But all still running together. Beresford still behind Hoekstra, or is now behind Hoekstra as they're running into turn 4.
Yeah, those guys are staying very close to him.
As we've just heard from Cameraman Extraordinaire, unfortunately Lewis McVeigh suffered a disconnect. That's the most cruel way of retiring from a race, so unlucky there, Lewis, but of course you have all the opportunity in race 2. Love to see you back, sir. as we have this is a properly little interesting train of cars here from 5th all the way down to 9th place. As Salo's gone wide. He's gone wide at turn 9 there. Beresford has taken the advantage, and here comes Olsen. Salo's teammate is space left just about. As Beresford has got a good little, he had a little look, I'd say, out of turn 10 through 11 there on Hoekstra. So Salo, a little mistake there through 9. Good job saving the car over that gravel. Couldn't be. That was a heart-mouth moment. Nearly lost it all there. So beneficiary there is Beresford. He's got ahead, and Hoekstra as well.
Yeah, so Salo's losing a bit more. So what do you see?
We've got something interesting happening up the front now, because Brookman is now affecting the pass on Strawn. There was a solid 1 second gap between the two. That has been eroded, so I can only assume that might have been a little bit of an error. Could this be? That looked like a bit of a turn-in moment there. Thankfully, everyone's still running on the road, but Strawn well and truly under pressure on lap 13 of 17 as we run through the long turn 3. Everyone, top 3 now, right line astern. Weisenmuller, he's taken a little bit of a different line to the other two. He's using all of that curve, which is quite brave in these conditions. Now dry on the racing line, but still wet off. But Brugman well and truly hustling the back of Strawn now, as we've now got a back marker. Trying to spot who that is. He's getting out of the way. That's good stuff. Pestov's not going to affect this fight, which is good stuff. As they now run through turn 7, turn 8. Very treacherous camber change, an undulation change. Just catch you out as they run through 9, blind on entry. Nicely done by all 3. I'd say Weisenmuller just lost a little bit to Brugman there, but Brugman well and truly hustling the back of that ice-cold racing car. Strawn taking a little bit of a defensive line there, just trying to cover off any opportunities. They now run through 11 into 12. No real overtaking opportunity here. This time around, we'll have to see what Brugman does. Does he set himself out for a run, perhaps, through turn 16?
Hoekstra's lost 2 places.
Straight.
Sorry. Tap there as well from start. Hoekstra down 2 places. He was trying to fight Beresford, who's also fighting Olsen. There's going to be a bit of contact here, and yes, there is. Salo's trying to get involved. There's 4 of them are really fighting each other. This is going to be interesting down the back, the front straight. I will call it the front straight one day.
Brugman now, he's having a look on a move on Strawn for the lead. Very even down into the braking zone. Strawn, last of the late breakers. Good to me, he's really got that car to stop on a sixpence. He was passed by Brugman, but he was so much later on the brakes, he repassed under braking. Lovely stuff there from Strawn. He maintains the gap. Just turn cameraman
Hoekstra, Olsen, Beresford, Salo all fighting each other. Salo's kind of down to 9th now, but he's kind of sat back and just seeing what those 3 are going to do, because there is a lot of contact between Beresford and Olsen there. Hoekstra's trying to get involved again.
All getting a little feisty here in the midfield. Beresford, oh my goodness me, he was trying around the outside 5 there. That's a very brave move. Always good, tightens up there massively on exit. You can find yourself very compromised as he does now. Salo having a little look, but no real opportunity down into 7. As they all are again line astern, no opportunity.
back straight, going towards the left hand. No, he braked earlier than Strawn there actually. He was catching up. I think he's happy to sit behind and then wait until they get onto the main straight and see what he can do there. Watching them go through sector 3, he's kind of able to stay on Strawn, pulling away a little bit there, so a bit more downforce. But I think it's Brugman with the higher top speed and the slipstream really helping him on the main straight here. It's kind of follow these 2, and as they come round, a complete lap 14 of 17. Not long to go now. Strawn's pulled a bit of a gap. Is Brugman going to reel him in? He is slowly but surely, but as we said, it's a long straight down here.
Is indeed, and the pack behind is slowly catching. Jesper Nielsen, he's been able to overtake Zupanik for 4th and 5th. And he is the fastest man on track, so says cameraman extraordinaire. Indeed he is, good spot there. Strawn, for me, I think he's been absolutely on the money with a setup yet again. I think he's really got that car set up nicely for this circuit. It's a circuit of compromise. You've got a very fast sector, you've got a very slow sector. You've got a car which works everywhere well, but perhaps nowhere brilliant. But in these mixed conditions, it's that kind of reliability that you want. He's been managing this little attack here from Mad Pig pair, I should say, and he's dealt with it superbly. And he's now extending the gap. It was just a tenth of a second a few laps ago. It's up to 6, or almost 6/10 of a second. They're now running through turn 9. Just to return to our little scrap here for the remainder of the top 10, we've got Olsen ahead of Hoekstra, Beresford in close pursuit, and Salo's dropped down to P9 now. So I think a little bit of conservation there from Salo won't do him any bother. Get some points in the bag, I have to say, is most certainly the most important thing. Come back for a strong second race. Of course, we have the reverse grid, so this group all very feisty at the front as well. Gap now to
feisty at 15th as well. James Kirk and Ballant Hammer of Drake Racing. Ballant currently getting that single point, but Kirk right behind him, his teammate. Shout out to Patrick Wannermiller, who was taking 15th place. He's now up to 13th. And bit of a gap though to Tommy Cabrera, about 8-second gap between 12th and 13th. But yeah, he's in his own race at the moment.
Strawn, fastest lap of the race last time around, so as the track's slowly getting drier. Oh, Strawn, was that him going off the circuit there ever so slightly? I think that was. Brugman has definitely gained a bit of time to him there, so a slight mistake through 3, very easy to do. And he's maintaining the lead. We've got a back marker just going through turn 5. This group will catch, but we have almost the top 5 almost together. Not like any of the other races we've seen so far. There's been a couple of breakaway leaders. No, not at all in this one. Everyone very close after 16 laps. They will have one more after this one as they run through turn 9. If Brugman wants to make a move, he's going to have to make it soon. Of course, after this being in the top, the real top of the tree, the sharp end of the field, do you want to risk it all and come away with nothing? I'm sure he doesn't. Now, we're going to have to keep an eye though on the fight, if it will, for the top 10 places. We've just seen some great action going on there. Olsen continues to run P6, but Beresford and Salo are now having a go at each other. Salo been able to move up the order to P8. Wookie Hoekstra has lost out, gone down to P9 as they're running through 13 and 14 there, round on to 16. Beresford looking to build a gap. He's got a good looking exit from what I could see there on the cameras. I think he's trying to break the toe, which I'd say he probably has done, and he's going to start focusing on just trying to put together a good final lap.
Hoekstra up to 8th, gone past Salo again, those two constantly fighting each other.
Indeed so, Hoekstra's got that move done. Good stuff, but we're going to have to now return and keep an eye on our leaders. We're on the final lap, we're running through turn 4 for the final time of race 1. This group has been pretty much inseparable the whole race. The rain really has spiced things up. Strawn has done a really good job so far though. Brugman though is in hot pursuit as they run down through 5, through 6, down into 7. Very tricky corner turn 7. Hard to judge where your braking points are, but nicely done by both of them. Running up through 8, up towards 9. It'll be critical here to get a really good exit to make sure there's nothing on going down into turn 10. I'd say they both have had a good run through there. Slight opportunity perhaps for a little slipstreaming effect. Strawn having a little look, perhaps going a little defensive. Ooh, as he's run a little deep there. Brugman having a decent exit, but not enough to affect anything now. Run through 12, going towards turn 13. Unless there's a monumental mistake, I don't think Strawn is going to lose this one. Hopefully not curse of the commentator going on here. As he runs through 13, through 14, and I beg your pardon, through 15, going into 16, and Eric Strawn rounds turn 16, heads for the line. He's not going to lift off the gas as he comes across the line to win race 1 by just 0.2 of a second. Robert Wiesenmuller comes home to lock out P3 for Mad Cape, so a 2 and 3 there for Mad Cape Racing Team. Great stuff for them, with Jesper Nielsen and Brewster overtaking right at the death there. He's come home P5.
Oh, that one in 15th place is going to be close between Hammer and Warwick. Oh, it's going to be close. Is he? Oh, 4 thousandths of a second. Ballant Hammer just takes the final point.
Goodness me, good spot. Action all up and down the field over the final few points. Strawn critically at this point in the season, he continues to build the gap. Where did Salo finish in the end? He's finished P9, so a good bucket of points, but perhaps not as many as he would be hoping for going into this race. To continue on our top 10, we had Bruce Pennick in P5, Scott Beresford in P6, Tobias Olsen in P7, Wookie Hoekstra did eventually come home in P8 for Epic, Salo came home in P9, rounding out the top 10, Tommy O'Lala for Racing Team Schroep. So, goodness me.
I'm going to shout out the top 15 as well. So Sandeep in 11th for Team Proline, Tommy Cabrera 12th, Patrick Wannermiller, who was 15th and made his way up to 13th in the end, Jeffrey Frenier 14th, and yeah, Ballant Hammer just holding on for that final point. I was watching Andrew Waring, who got Hammer's teammate Kirk on the straight at the final lap, and he was just slowly catching up with Hammer, and I thought if he's going to do it, it's going to be on the straight or the final few corners. He tried it down to turn 14 and just couldn't find the inside to kind of get him a little bit of a tap, but then just kind of held it down turn 16 and just hoped he could get it in at the line, and not quite, but very close.
good to see plenty of battles up and down the field. And in fact, actually, just looking down the order, we only had 4 cars retire in that. So that's very, well, just 10% of the field. We had 40 starters, and we didn't have that many people lapped either as well. So a good race from everyone. Not too many dramas. It's what we like to see, some good, clean racing. And, well, we've had a good race one, very good race one. Plenty to discuss. And, well, what do you know? The weather came along and played its hand as well. So, so yes, a good, solid start to the evening, I'd say. And, well, a perfect start to the evening for Eric Strawn.
Wasn't the best hand that the weather played. I was hoping for a bit more, but it was that we were not quite there to go for wet. A couple of people risked it, but further down the field just to see if it got any heavier, but sadly didn't quite get enough rain to kind of really merit them. So maybe in race 2, we'll see what the weather does, keep an eye on it. But notice that the offline, the circuit wasn't drying, so not many people really going offline.
Yep, and that is a very good spot. The only places really where, well, I mean, the nature of this track is, I'd say through most of the corners there is only really one line. There aren't really that many corners where you could take multiple approaches, just by the nature of how the track is. I'd say probably the only corner where there are multiple lines, and they all are as quick as each other, is perhaps turn 3, where you could hug the inside or come in from the outside and try and make the corner as shallow as possible. But it really is a course where there is one line, and well, clearly that dry line really did dry up, and it's only now that the track is ever so slowly now drying off to a nice dry surface for everyone else to race on. So yeah, it's been interesting to see how how people adapted to the rain. We did see a few gamble and try and go for that wet tire. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them on this occasion. But as you say, you never know. The weather might play another hand in the next round, and we've got to wait for, of course, for our random number reverse grid draw. Anyone from P15 to P20 could find themselves on pole position, and well, that could be a real shake-up of the grid. We have seen in the previous 2 rounds that both Strawn and Salo, our protagonists at this early stage, have been able to make their way through the field with pretty clinical effectiveness, actually. So we'll have to see if they're able to repeat it here, potentially in mixed conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if I'm just trying to remember who we had between 15 and 20. 15th was Hammer. 16th was Waring, 17th was Kirk. I can't actually remember the other people in top 20, but we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully we'll get it rather soon. First grid is 15, which is Hammer.
Ah, excellent stuff. So that number has been drawn. Good news for Ballant Hammer. He'll find himself on pole position. James Kirk, I think he said he finished P16. Are you kidding? Unlucky James.
He was 17th in the end. It was Waring. It was 4,000th of a second away from pole.
Oh,
and
dear.
A point.
That's unlucky. But that is the nature of the reverse grid draw. You can only guarantee yourself a nice high starting position in the second race if you're inside that top 15. So we'll have to see what happens. But yes, as we've seen in practice, a very close race between a good chunk of the field, and it was incredible to see that transitioned over into the race. I was really pleasantly surprised, because typically, you can set your car up for some courses as if you were a qualifying car. You can, set it up good on one lap, but in a race, it's not that good. And of course, as the other extreme, you set it up, you try and make it work over a race distance. Of course, that's going to net you the points in the end, but the optimum point where those two kind of intersect on the Venn diagram is pretty slim, but it's really great to see so many people have absolutely nailed it this year, and we've got a really close grid up and down the field. So excellent stuff so far. Long may it continue, and we've got a good reverse grid race to look forward to.
I was going to mention that I noticed that as it started raining, a few people kind of their wet running skills were a bit rusty. Quite a few drivers going sideways, but as the kind of the rain kept coming down, but as people realised the conditions, they were kind of able to adapt to them rather well. And yeah, I think Chupenic was one of them. Finished in 7th place at the end. We saw him kind of all kinds of sideways for a few corners, and he realised how to drive the car, and he did a really good job there. Gained, I think, a couple of places, or did he start 7th in race 1? I think he may have started in the same place, so still a good bunch of points.
Absolutely, and the thing with circuits, particularly like this, I mean, so this is a very technical course. It's got a little bit of everything. It's interesting from an engineering standpoint how you set the car up. It's interesting from a driving standpoint in terms of how you approach the course and how you set yourself up for it. But it's a circuit of rhythm. It really is. I found this when I was driving WSS. Once you get into that rhythm, you're fine. You know where your braking points is. But it's just that subtle, little split-second moment where you're not concentrating, and it can cost you time, places, and, well, the weather effect there, I think, did catch a few people out. They were just, hanging the tail out. Very nice to watch. Not quick on a circuit, though. And, yeah, it was good to see that once people got used to it, they got back into their rhythm, and off they went. Sorry. So we'll see if people are able to focus and carry on. We hope so, as everyone is now just getting themselves through second warm-up. We have 2 minutes of warm-up to go before our second race. We will grid everyone up. We'll have another 17 laps, I'm sure, of close and intense action. Now, just keeping an eye on the social medias, we've got Mad Cape Racing Team on Twitter, mentioning GPVWC. They're obviously going to be over the moon with that 2 and 3. It's good stuff. And if there's any questions you want to pose to us or anything at all you want to comment on, feel free to tweet us using hashtag GPVWC. And we will keep an eye out for that and give you a shout out. So I'm just going to refresh it to make sure I'm not missing anything. But,
no, afraid not. No, we were very busy from Melbourne, race 1. But nothing at the moment, I'm afraid.
Oh, so unloved.
Our cameraman extraordinaire has just shouted to us, hashtag cams.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got a little bit of time. Cam, what did you make of that race from a camera point of view?
Action everywhere.
Superb, wasn't it? Good stuff. It's what we like to see.
There was a bit of dodgy contact here and there, but for the most part it was nice and clean, and it was really interesting seeing the different setups of guys who were running. I mean, you had guys who had low wings, who were just demolishing others in the straights, and then obviously you get to the middle part of the lap, and the guys with the high downforce and the perhaps tighter setup catch right up there, so it all sort of evened out and made for some entertaining action.
Hoekstra's straight line speed on the front straight. I kept on being shouted at every time I said rear straight for the main straight. But yeah, I mean, he had a much higher top speed there.
Indeed, and that is the beauty of this course. It really does allow, and the true beauty is, both approaches equally as quick and equally as valid. And we saw there that some drivers really were making hay while the sun shine, or didn't in that case in that race, on the straights, and sure enough they did struggle in that second sector. So yeah, it's a great proving ground, I'd say, at this point in time in the season, to see who's setting their car up in one way or another. Lee Davidson saying he's going to start a rain dance for race 2. I agree with that, Lee. As a great just proving ground for methodologies, how people go about setting themselves up. So yeah, as warm-up is now completing, drivers finishing off their final few laps. Race director just warning everyone just to take care. And we had a very good start. It has to be said, actually, in the first race. Hopefully that will be true next time round. As we're now just waiting to transition into race 2.
So what I didn't manage to say at the start was that Chupenik and Trodra both had really good starts. They made 2 or 3 places together.
That's true.
So it'll be interesting to see a bit further back how they do.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
So as our factor man briefs us, as always, it's wet on the track. It's sprinkling the surface with a moist dew here on for race 2. We have 20 seconds for everyone to get to the track, but there's not enough water going down at this point to
getting lighter.
Yeah, in fact it is getting lighter, so it's a little bit damp to start things off, as we are just waiting for everyone to take to their grid slots. Valiant Hammer, who is on pole, has 3 seconds to get out to grid. Ooh, he was pushing it there. So Phil, why don't you talk us through the top 10?
I will. Okay, so Valiant Hammer takes our pole for Drake Racing. Jeffrey Fournier for Downforce iZone Racing in second. Patrick Wanamula, Triple 20 in third. Hoping he could do well. He made some good places up at the end. Tamug Brer for Viking Racing in fourth. And there's Sandeep Chodra in 5th place for Team Proline. Keep an eye on him at the start. Tommy Ajala, Racing Team Shroton in 6th. Rasmus Salo in 7th place for Basvik. He's hoping to get a good hold of points for this one. Wupke Hoekstra for Epic Racing in 8th. Tobias Olsen for Basvik Grand Prix in 9th. And rounding out our top 10 is Scott Beresford for Racing Team Shroton.
Coming in P11 for race 2 is Britt Pennick for Team Proline. Jesper Nielsen for Ice Cold will be starting in P12. Robert Weisenmuller for Madcake will be starting in P13, and he is followed by his teammate Lars Brugman second Mad Cape racing car. Eric Strom in P15 will be, starting in P15 for Ice Cold. Andrew Waring for Centurion will be starting in P16. James Kirk starting in P17 for Dre. Timu Toika will be starting in P18 for YTF1. Hansko Mebius for Cosmo will be starting in P19. And rounding out the top 10 team will be Mike Schroep for Olympic Racing.
In 21st, it's Adam Osger for Deltec Racing, followed by the two Dogecoin Racing guys of Ben Warren and Thomas Jacobs in 22nd and 23rd. Victor Silva for Centurion Grand Prix in 24th, with Timu Valkajavi for YTF1 25th. Edward Patala for Kajala Racing in 26th. Bruno Cesar Ferreira for Scuderia Basilia in 27th. Ollie Pelkinen, Katana Motorsports 28th, with Ben Willis in 29th for Zederick, and Mike Bell in 30th position for Arrow International Racing.
Yari Brupacha for Scuderia Basilica will be starting in P32. Ahead of him will be Simon Smith for the Backmarker Brigade. Can't believe I've got those the wrong way around, but there we are. And starting in P33 for Zederick Racing will be Andres Pestos. P34 will be Andreas Walters for the Backmarker Brigade. Sam Jones, who tried that wet tyre in race 1, I beg your pardon there, for Arrow International Racing, will be starting P35. And Andreas Rudhoft for Triple 20 will be starting P36. P37 will be the starting position for Stefan McCurry for Deltec's racing team. And rounding out our final three positions, we have Richard Coxon for Cosmo starting P38. Justinis Rebellis for Katana starting P39. And Lewis Babade, very unfortunate with that disconnect, will be starting at the back of the grid in P14. Good shout
You
out.
can see what he can do from the back.
Absolutely, and he's a quick man. We know this. See what he could do. Good shout from Scott here. It's the first front row grid start for Downforce iZone Racing. The lights are on. Goodness me, I'm not hanging around with the lights tonight. 5 lights are on, and we are racing. Solid start by the looks of it there from Ballant Hammer, 48. Looks like he's got an equally good start. He's come along on the inside as here comes Carborough for Viking. He's got a great start right behind Hammer. Everyone looks at being nice and sensible. Onto turn 1 is, oh goodness me, I think that was a bit of server lag there. That's, goodness me. I think that might have messed up one car, gone well off one side into to start of turn 3. By the looks of it, everyone's just about got away nice and cleanly as they run down towards turn 4.
Just kind of seeing, yeah, it looks like it's okay from the start at the back as well. There's a bit of a touch from Olsen earlier on, but I think he's okay.
Yep, good stuff. A few touches here and there through 4.
Olsen's going sideways! Oh, he's held it. He tapped the back of Triple 20, Wannemüller then.
Hoekstra has had a poor exit from turn 5. He's going down the order. Choda's having a sniff. Oh, goodness me. That was never going to work. Who on earth was that? That was a very bad lunge there, down into 7. Goodness me, it's lap 1, boys. Keep it calm. We had a few cars, 2 or 3 cars there taken out in that. We'll have to have a look at that one perhaps a bit later. But everyone's running down into turn 3. A few cars have had a spin in turn 9 by the looks of it, but they're recovering. I think that's Choda. He's carrying on just about, but our leader continues to be Hammer. Cameraman extraordinaire says there was 5 wide down into turn 1. Goodness me, everyone's feeling very feisty to start a race 1. Critically though, Valiant Hammer's had the perfect start. He continues to lead as we complete lap 1, start lap 2. And his gap as he crosses the start-finish straight is 8/10 of a second.
That was
Viking.
Weisenmüller, who's currently fighting Salo. It was Weisenmüller that dived down the inside there and kind of caused 3 into 1, which just didn't work. He gets past Salo, make it up to 7th position. Salo's going to try and come back at him at the outside turn 1. Ooh, bit of contact there.
Bit of contact. Well, I'm sure the powers that be will have a proper investigate of that one, as that was a very, very late manoeuvre. But yeah, he's running. As Salo, down the inside of Wannemüller. Oh, goodness. Oh, Salo's going to lose out big time there. You have to leave it a space, as Fernando Alonso says, and there wasn't really much of a gap there. Salo, really unfortunate there. Everyone else, though, behind, Nilsson, Strawn, they've been able to benefit. Critically, Strawn ahead of Salo already at this very early stage, so Salo will not be pleased with that one bit. Meanwhile, at the front, Hammer continues to maintain the gap, 7/10 of a second, about to enter Sector 3. Continues to be 7/10 of a second between himself and Carborough for Viking. Zupenik though, Zupenik up to 3rd. He's having another great run. He's right on the gearbox now of Carborough. Goodness me, the closing speed there, so much quicker. Through turn 12. Let's see what happens as we go through the very slow, very technical turns 14 and 15. Critical to get a good exit. Looks like a solid run from both drivers, but Carborough has to be careful now. There's going to be a lovely hole in the air he'll be punching, and Zupenek will be taking full advantage of that. They cross the start-finish line, a tenth of a second the difference. Let's see what happens as we run down towards turn 1 on the slight decline now. 150 metres, 100 metres. Who's late on the brakes? Zupenek trying around the outside. Has it got it done? Yes, just about. Oh, Carver, he's carried a bit more speed through 2 and holds the position through 3. Nice and clean, nice and fair from these two. A real scrap developing here for P2. Zupenek getting well out of it for 4. Hammer's looking his way through mirror, loving this. He's going to give the opportunity to run away with this one. Zupenek, he had a look around the outside, very brave stuff, a little feisty on the accelerator though has cost him. This is a nice scrap developing here.
Yeah, just looking at who's fighting each other. Oh, Jala and Beresford, Racing Team Trojan guys, a bit of a touch there, 13th and 14th. I think Beresford's a bit quicker than him, but he can't get by, he can't force his way by like that. It's Lars Brugman in the final points playing position, just behind these two Racing Team Trojan, seeing what they get up to.
Yeah, absolutely no need for contact, get past another car whatsoever. And look at that, Beresford so much quicker through 9 there. And that isn't normally an overtaking corner. Oyala very late on the brakes, he's out-braked himself there, and he's lost himself 2 positions there. A little bit of restraint might have only lost him the 1 if he'd just given that one up to his teammates. So Oyala losing 2 places there, and a little bit of a mistake there from him.
We missed Andrew Waring spinning, doing a 360 or even 720, didn't quite count. Coming out to turn 9, somehow didn't hit the wall. He lost a few places, but he is still going, and the car looks okay.
Excellent stuff. Well, all sorts of spins and fun tyre smoking action going on. It is almost dry everywhere on the track now. There's a little bit of dampness offline, but Hammer is doing everything correctly so far. Got a 1 second gap as we're on lap 4 of 17. Zupenek now ahead of Cabra for Viking Racing, so a move clearly done on the back straight there. Cabra, by the looks of it though, is fighting back. Not really an opportunity to overtake though through 4. Oh, Cabra very late on the brakes, and he's cost himself there. Goodness me, I'm surprised that Zupenek wasn't really affected by that. But very late on the brakes, you need to be very cautious around other cars. You can't expect them to jump out the way when they are really on the limits. And well, he's cost himself a podium position as it was right there. So Zupenek, the biggest beneficiary out of all that. He's now got a nice gap behind him, and a descending gap now to the man in first. So
seeing who's current to that. So now Andrew Waring, who even had his massive spin, is taking that final points playing position as Ajala and Schroeder, a bit of contact there. Waring's trying to get involved and see around sector 3 if he can get anything.
Having a look.
Seeing Strachan and Salo. Strachan in 6th, and Salo is currently 9th. Interestingly, it hits his teammate Olsen ahead of him. I'm wondering if that ends like that at the end of the race, whether Olsen will give the place. I think it's too early in the championship to have a number 1 driver.
Yeah, and I would agree. That was definitely going to cause an interesting team dynamic as Zupenek has set the fastest lap of the race. Good eyes on that one from cameraman extraordinaire. Strachan, critically though, at this point in the race, he's ahead of Salo comfortably, and he's reeling in the next car on the road, which is Weisenmuller, Mad Kate, and he has a rear gunner, cameraman extraordinaire, on the money. We are in sync. I am liking this as he's in a really strong position in this early stage of race 2. The cards are well and truly in his hand to play a blinder. But just to return to our leading group here, Zupenek is on a stormer. He's got the gap between himself and Hammer for the lead down to just 0.4 of a second. A very good exit through 7 and 8 for Zupenek that time around. And I'd fancy that going onto the front straight on this next time around, he's going to have a look for the overtake for the lead.
Oh, Charles out. He had suspension damage there. It was an interesting one. He was trying to go past Schroeder, and Waring's trying to get out of the way of both of them, and he spun him round, and yeah, sadly hit smack to the wall, and that's Ajala out.
Unfortunate. We've also had Victor Silva retire from the race so far on lap 5 of 17. Zupenek well and truly on the gearbox of this Drake Racing car. Let's see, what can Zupenek do as he runs through 16? Hammer immediately going defensive. I think that's probably going to cost him a few miles an hour and scrubbing the speed, getting the car to the other side. Here comes Zupenek. It was 8,000 as they crossed the line. Zupenek ahead, just about, well ahead, on the brakes. Are they nice and sensible? Yes, they are. So Zupenek, good move there, just informed by cameraman extraordinaire. Zupenek was 0.2 slower than his previous lap, which I think was the fastest of the race. Critically though, Strachan He's only 3.6 behind all this, and he just set the fastest lap of the race as well. So we're going to have to keep an eye on a late charge from the championship leader at this point, Eric Strong. So Zupenik, he's in the lead. He led in race 1 very, very well indeed. We'll have to see if he's now, with plenty of free air ahead of him, able to convert this potentially into a race ring. They run through 7. Let's cast our eyes back to P5. We've got Weisenmuller. He is currently got Eric Strachan right behind him, in fact. He's really reeled him in as they run through 9. Will there be an attempt to pass through 10? Weisenmuller immediately on the defensive.
It has to be, yeah. He's braked a little bit later. He's been trying to, a bit too late actually. But like I said, with his teammate behind him, he'll probably just hold back and just let him do his own race.
So here's the question. If you were in charge of Ice Cold at this point, and you were calling the shots, what would you do? Would you say, right, we're in a strong position, the Ice Cold, they're currently leading the Constructors' Championship, you want to make sure that you're getting these points in nice and early. Do you want to try and maximise the chance with one of your drivers to have a huge lead at this point?
Nielsen is pulled back a little bit as well, as Strahn's looking down the inside Weisenmuller for turn 1. I think he's a bit too far back, although he is slowly got slightly higher top speed. I think it'll be too far to do anything here. Yep, it is.
So Strachan very good on the brakes. We saw that as Lars Brugmans just set the fastest lap of the race on that last time around, so he's recovering. I think he may have been involved in that drama in turn 7 on the first lap. But yeah, Strachan, I think he'll wait for his moment. The car's clearly very able. He'll just wait for his opportunity to strike, and he'll try and get a good overtake done. As we're now just keeping an eye on our leader, Zupenik. He continues to lead. He's got the gap up to half a second at this point. They're running through 7 and 8. Hammer remains in P2. And rounding out the podium for Epic Racing at this point is Whoopke Hoekstra. After a real action-packed race 1, he's doing a great job for Epic, running in P3 at this point.
Looking at 15th position, it's Smuga Brer, who is hit earlier. Schroten just ahead of him, but he's got Timu Toika right on his gearbox at the moment as we go down towards turn 10, the left-hander. He's going to be on the outside. Is he going to try and hang it around the outside? Oh, it's going to be a nice overtake if he does it. I think Schroten's going it's going a bit all over the place, and Tom Jacobs just in 17th position, just kind of hanging back and seeing what goes on next. He's got a nice big gap behind him.
They just had a change actually for P3 and P4. We just had Patrick Wannemuller for triple 20 pull off a superb move round turn 12 and 13.
He's going to bring it straight back.
Hoekstra's top speed, bringing it straight back. There's no defence for just pure speed, and he's overtaken with ease. Lars Brugman setting the fastest lap of the race yet again last time round, so he's clearly feeling good. As Wannemuller, he's going to have to have another go. Interestingly, through turn 3, the car actually is very, very good through there. He is, oh, beg your pardon, he's running a lot of wings. Of course he's going to be good through there. As look at that, right up the inside 4. No way that...
oh, Salo's off. Salo's off. I think he may have hit his teammate.
Oh, goodness me. Well, we'll have to see if we can get that on replay. Yes, indeed. He's
they are now 13th and... oh, he's right down to 12th now. Yeah, I think he tried diving up the inside of Brewster, which wasn't going to happen. Backed out of it and then hit his teammate off as well.
Oh, goodness, yes. They've both gone into the gravel there at 4, and that's cost both a big load of points collectively. We've now got Fournier behind Salo, downforce, running P13. He might be having a look. There's always an opportunity if a driver's had a few knocks just out of rhythm for a cheeky overtake, catch them while they're not expecting it. But yes, a bit a critical mistake this early on.
Strahn's really on the back of 5th now. In fact, loads of them are very close together now, so this is going to be interesting slipstreaming going down the main straight.
We have Hoekstra, Wannemuller, Weisenmuller and Strachan all pretty much on each other's gearbox. We're going to have a good fight, four-way fight here for 3rd place. And Strachan is at the back of it. Here we go already. Got a little bit of differential in top speed. I'd say Hoekstra with his superior top speed, not really having to worry too much. And the others behind him are Weisenmuller not having an opportunity this time around as they run through 3. Weisenmuller with more, or a better line I should say, and here comes Strachan. Weisenmuller really caught out there. I think Strahan's actually alongside him to run into 4. It's going to be a brave move to go all the way round the outside. He's thought better of it. He has let it run all the way out though. You can do that, get some good speed coming down into turn 5. All very good, all very clean so far. But in a way, with so many cars in close proximity, an overtake is actually going to be, I think, more difficult.
I think he tapped the back of Hoekstra there, started spinning, but he managed to hold it, and he lost 2 positions out of that.
That's a good save. Unfortunately, there was the bit of contact. But I was just about to say, with so many cars in close proximity, I think an overtake is going to be quite tricky because you run the risk of hitting someone else. As here comes Wanamula straight away. He had a good run on the brakes there, but nowhere near alongside or enough to warrant getting that move done. So Strawn maintains that one.
Beresford up to 7th, just got past Nielsen, ice cold.
Good spot on that. Weisenmuller, I would say, is definitely a little slower at this point than Strawn as they're running through the exit of 15 into 16 now. Onto the front straight. We'll have to see if Strawn's able to do anything here. We know he's very, very good on the brakes. He's actually pulled out with a slipstream already, which surprises me. Yeah, far too early, I would have thought. Whereas perhaps he's just playing a little psychological game. I'm here. Scott Beresford setting the fastest lap of the race as he crosses the start finish. And yeah, not affecting a pass that time around. So he might just be washing. He might be trying to figure out, right, where would my best opportunity be? As here comes Weisenmuller on Hoekstra. Hoekstra really struggling through 3 that time around. Perhaps he's used a little bit of his tyre up. Oh, Weisenmuller right up the inside on that curve. That's going to be tricky as, oh, goodness me. Oh, front axles and rear axles all aligned. That's just going to cause a pirouette of doom. But they've all kept that one together.
Oh, Toika has hit Schroten. Down in 16th, 17th position. That's Schroten round. Jacobs up to 16th. Toika was, I think, a bit annoyed in turn 2 with Argy-Bargy, and turn 3 has just dived up the inside. And yeah, I don't think, sorry, turn 4. I don't think that was the best plan there, Toika.
Yeah, never good when there's contact. We just had another retirement, unfortunately. That was Sandeep Choda for Team Proline. He's retired. As Weisenmuller outbrakes himself, big time. Strawn takes the advantage. He takes P4 and is now right on the back of Wookie Hoekstra. So here comes the interesting question. What is better? Ultimate top end speed or a car which is quick everywhere? Well, we'll have to find out. As here comes the rain! Oh dear, that rain dance from Lee seems to be taking effect late on in the race. We're on lap 10 of 17, about to go on to lap 11. Here we go.
The only way to describe Chodra's accident is Alonso, but he went in backwards.
Oh dear.
Yep. So hopefully this will play into Strawn's hands as oh, that's another person going backwards a few places I thought there. Oh no, maybe not. It's just me. Sorry. So so it's Toika currently in 15th place. Tom Jacobs just over a second behind that last points position.
They're playing the long game, perhaps. You never know. There might be a drama further up. It's interesting.
I think Toika will get a penalty, if anything. It was a bit of a dive down the inside, and I think Schroten's going to be a bit aggrieved with that.
I have to wait for the powers that be to sort that one out. But the rain is coming. It's actually it's raining quite a bit more than it's certainly getting wetter. There's more rain than it did in race 1. So it would seem.
Oh, Chirgwin, big sideways moment there in turn 9. That's given Hammer a bit of catching up. He kind of lost it over the bumps, went too wide there.
Yeah, the rumble strip is your friend and your enemy. You have to trust that it will be there and catch you if you're ever so slightly offline, but at the same time, it'll also kill you if you use too much of it. So it's a bit of an unknown quantity when you go there. But Strawn, he's ahead of Hoekstra. He's got that one done. We'll have to keep an eye on the replay. He was alongside down into turn 10, and yeah, he's just outbraked him and stopped it beautifully.
Salo's struggling. Salo is currently down 12th position, but this weather he's really struggling. He's behind his teammate. They nearly touched again, actually.
So we'll have to keep an eye now on P3 and P4. Here comes Hoekstra over superior top speed. Can he get it stopped on the wet line? Because Strawn, I bet, is not going to move. Nope, he's nice and sensible. He might have thought about it, but I'd definitely say at this point, definitely better to stay on the dry stuff. Oh, Hoekstra, he's got a lovely line through 2 into 3. He got himself alongside in 3 there, and he's still going down into 4. And you might have to be careful here. Weisenmuller is right behind him, so any mistake will be capitalised on. But Strawn, he's got the downforce. We know he'll be quick from sector 2 as Weisenmuller. Oh, from downtown, gets that one stopped beautifully. Goodness me, what a superb move. Lovely bit of opportunist driving. Gets by Hoekstra, takes P4. So, this is going to be interesting. Can Weisenmuller put a bit of pressure? Perhaps follow Strawn through to some of the higher positions? We'll have to find out. So, as we're now running with the Strawn and Weisenmuller little pairing into turn 10, Zupenik and Hammer, who've been driving very nicely on their own. They are still driving or on track. P1 and 2, gap 6/10. Critically, the rain has actually stopped. It's still a little wet offline, but it can absolutely bone dry online, as we were sort of seeing before.
Oh, Strawn's gone wide. There was instant there of Strawn down to 5th. So he turned 16. I'm just going to quickly grab a replay of that. What happened there? I think yeah, a bit. Wiesem were kind of fighting him rather hard, and yeah, just pushed him out a little bit there.
Yeah, that was a mistake from Weisemuller. Lock up of the rear axle into 14, and no space left on the exit of 15, which is a little cheeky. So yeah, that's not ideal for Strawn. He's lost 2 positions, but Weisemuller now inherits 3rd with Hoekstra right behind. So I'm sure there'll be a move from Strawn in the imminent future to try and retake that. Meanwhile, Beresford is caught right up the back of this with pretty much the whole field, or at least the whole top 10. So this is a real old scrap-a-roo for the final podium position, with any 9-3 potentially contesting it, with Zupenik and Hammer a good 5 seconds up the road at this point.
So all this going on, Salo's currently 11th, but he's right on the gearbox of Andrew Waring for Centurion Racing, and it's his teammate Olsen behind Salo, kind of, go on then, I've let you have this place, go overtake this guy before I have another go at you again.
Excuse me, we are 3 right through 9, and they've made that work. Superb stuff from Strawn. He got past Hoekstra, and Wannemuller tried to make a late charge. Hoekstra going very deep into 12. I think that's going to cost him another position to Wannemuller. They run through 13. Oh, maybe not. Hoekstra pulling that one back, but lovely move from Strawn. Nice and controlled. And he's now in P4, and he's got Weisemuller right ahead of him. So this is going to be interesting as they run through 16. Let's see out of these two, who's got the superior top speed. Immediately defensive from Weisemuller as they cross the start-finish to start lap 14 of 17. Weisemuller pulling back onto the dry line once he's realised there's not really anything on this time around. Strawn so much superior on the brakes, it's incredible. Getting that car stopped so much more quickly in such a short space. Absolutely nailing that, and look at that, right on the gearbox of that Mad Cake Racing Team machine. Weisemuller, he's staying on the racing line. Strawn having a look. Strawn could let him run wide. No, Weisemuller always trying to cut back like that. Trying to take the opportunity, but Strawn has got the run through there. Nicely done.
And Salo's got past Waring as well, so he's up to 10th place. He's 7 seconds behind this battle, 7 seconds behind 9th place now, though.
There's a long old distance to make up in not many laps, but you never know, anything can happen, and it normally does. But I'll tell you what hasn't happened. We still have the same leading pairs. Zupenik from Hammer, the gap around 1 second at this point, so if they can keep it together, they've got a very solid gap. 5 seconds now to Strawn. Strawn, of course, really will be on the march now in Gruyere, but I don't think there'll be enough time for him to catch up and pass. So this could be a great day for Team Proline and Drag Racing. Scooping a podium.
Brugman trying to dive down the inside into 13. Then Wannemuller a little bit wide. And yeah, Wannemuller's really struggling in this last sector. But his top speed wasn't very good. I think Brugman's going to get him down this straight. Got him nearly before the start-finish line.
Weisemuller and Strawn, P3 and P4. Weisemuller using that lovely hole in the air that Strawn is carving for him. Strawn setting the fastest lap of the race last time around, clearly on the march. Weisemuller stayed with him, got the pass done. Ooh, a lovely little cutback move there from Strawn through 2. Can he cut back again into 3? Ooh, I think just a little bit of momentum there is not with him. Weisemuller using all of the track and perhaps a little bit more as they run into 4. Nice and clean so far between these two. Ooh, a little wheel there from Weisemuller, I think, on power as he now goes defensive into 5. These two really scrapping. Going to allow the group behind to catch up again. It's interesting, I was just actually keeping an eye on Weisemuller as they were running through Sector 3. A great sector for keeping an eye on cars with good mechanical grip. And Weisemuller really caught up to the back of Strawn through there. So clearly he's got plenty of mechanical grip on that car. And Strawn's got a lot of aerodynamic ability. So through these faster sections, he's really going to be on the march. As he comes down for a move on to 10. Oh, lovely stuff, but switchback-a-roo from Weisemuller. Shuts the door immediately. Lovely, but lovely fight going on here. And here comes Hoekstra. We know if that absolute rocket of an epic car, will he be able to affect anything on the back, on the front straight, sorry?
Wannemuller's just lost a load of places there very quickly. I'm just going to quickly try and see what happened there. Oh, he spun it round. Yeah, he spun it round on turn 10. That's lost him 4 or 5 places.
Here comes Strawn, Weisemuller and Hoekstra. Strawn is alongside just about front wheel to rear wheel. And here comes Hoekstra. Can he do anything with his superior top speed? He's certainly gaining, but not enough to make a move. Here comes Weisemuller. Oh, they're side by side through 2, but Strawn has got the job done. Left just about enough space. Here comes Hoekstra. Hoekstra up to the inside on the curb. A little bit of a touch between Weisenmuller and Hoekstra, but they just about keep that one together. So Strawn up to P3, Weisenmuller P4, and Hoekstra remains P5. A real scrap here in the dying moment here of race 2.
Yep, just a lap and a half to go really for these guys. Yeah, I think Hoekstra is going to get one place before the end of this, if not both of them though. It depends how quickly Strawn can pull away from Weisenmuller and Hoekstra fighting each other.
Zupenek is looking very, very, very comfortable indeed. The gap up to 2.4 seconds to Hammer, so clearly a couple of good laps, or perhaps a slight mistake from Hammer there. So that is looking very, very, very nice indeed there for Zupenek. As our little group here fighting for the final podium position runs through turn 11 and 12. And Hoekstra spun. Good spot from Cameraman Extraordinaire. We have to keep an eye on what exactly happened there.
Looks like he did the same thing as a lap ago, Weisenmuller did, just spun it on turn 10 on the exit.
Anti-cuts, spinning you round. A penalty if you run over him, and that's well and truly affected. So unfortunately for Whoopke, that's him back down to P8. Everyone else moving up a place. Lars Brugman, he's up in P5, Beresford P6, and Jesper Nielsen, prize cold in P7. He's critically though still a good way away from the leaders at this point. So Zupenek looking very comfortable. He's got a couple of back markers ahead of him.
Missed Justin Rebellis in turn 5, continually going left and destroying his suspensions. That's him out.
Oh dear, so another retirement right at the dying breath, but we're on the final lap. Strawn is, I'd say, just about enough on his own. There isn't really any slipstreamable gap for Weisenmuller to exploit. And the gap between... Oh, Beresford! Beresford overtaken by Brugman. Was that around the outside of turn 5?
It was indeed.
I think it may have been. Say, Beresford taking it P4. Brugman around the outside from turn 5. Lovely stuff. Those two fighting right until the very end. But we're going to have to sort of eventually turn our eyes, unfortunately, away from this little fight here. P5 and 6, there's still nose to tail. Let's keep with us for a second. We've got Beresford P6. He's having a look potentially around the outside of Brugman. Brugman very well keeping it nice and clear. But anyway, star of Formula Challenge this year, I think it's fair to say. He's been an absolute sensation. Ben Zupenek, beg your pardon, runs through 15, runs through 16, and wins race 2 for Team Proline. Superb drive in mixed conditions, taking advantage of the reverse grid. A superb start, and he's got his first win here at GPVWC. Ballenhammer has come home in second for Drake, a superb result for the Drake team, with Eric Strawn coming home in P3, and there's some celebratory donuts from Bentz, and Hammer's joining him over on the exit of turn 1. Everyone else now coming in just to run through our top 15 for you. Robert Weisenmuller came home in P4 with Lars Brugman behind him in P5. Scott Beresford in P6. Jesper Nielsen P7. Whoopke Hoekstra eventually finished in P8 with Rasmus Salo in P9. So a big gain there for Strawn again in this round on the points as it starts to rain. Nothing's going to rain on any of these drivers' parades, however. I want to point out Patrick Weisenmuller and Tobias Olsen right at the end there, just in the exit of turn 10 into turn 11. Olsen kind of had the inside of the left-hander. Weisenmuller didn't really give him enough space, and sadly got spun around and broke his suspension. And that was fighting up for 12th and 13th. And Weisenmuller with no points there at the end, afraid. And would you mind, Phil, just running us through our top 10 to 15 positions?
Yep, sure. Andrew Waring getting that 10th place for Centurion, with Jeffrey Fournier in 11th for Downforce iZone Racing. Tobias Olsen getting that 12th place, but that could be under review for the Basvic Grand Prix. Cabrera in 13th for Viking Racing. Timu Toika for YTF1, 14th, and the person gaining that point due to Weisenmuller crashing out was Thomas Jacobs for Dogecoin Racing in 15th. His teammate that's just behind him in 16th.
Oh, good stuff. Action right up until the very end there, and goodness me, the messages of congratulations going from the drivers to everyone. Great to see everyone, very appreciative of everyone, and celebrating on what has been actually. You want to know something? It's been a bit of a mixed old time. There's been some dramas and llamas here and there, but Formula Challenge, good clean racing on the whole. Only I think one truly nasty looking moment in the whole lot, and some great racing from all the drivers. And yet again, a very close field has given us another winner, a different winner for the first time. And goodness me, it's great stuff. We're set up very, very, very nicely for a great season.
Hoekstra has pointed out apparently he's only ever finished in 5th or 8th.
Oh, well, there you are. That's consistency.
I like the consistency there. He's gone for those 2 positions and went, I'll have them for the season.
Yep, that's a solid place to be, I would say. Solid place indeed. That will certainly net you some significant points towards the end of the year. So, as everyone's now making their ways back to the garage following race 2, we'll hopefully have some interviews with a few drivers. Just keep an eye on the interview room and hope they'll join us. And yes, goodness me, what a superb race. We had rain again. Not a massive rain dance, although Lee did do his best. And yeah, goodness me, great driving again, keeping it calm, keeping it collected, and I think really a true example of consistency there. You know, we had the same drivers; they were driving in the same manner. They weren't trying to go for lunges or anything like that, and it really paid off with some significant point gains and everything else for several drivers.
Adam Wright will be one person happy. He's currently unable to race tonight due to his actual racing commitments, and he was hoping that Mad Cape can do a decent job, and I think they have there with the 5th and 6th. Beresford and Brugman, Brugman and Wiesemuller. I think they had a good evening.
Yep, and Mad Cape Racing. Yep, I agree with that completely. They came home P4 and P5 in that second race, and that's superb points for constructors there. And you know, we have a drivers' championship. We have also a constructors' championship, and of course, it's the constructors' championship, which has an all-important bearing on if you get promoted up to Super Cup. So, you know, next tier up on the career ladder, and, well, ice cold going around. It's certainly all the right ways at this point in time, scoring lots of points, and they'll certainly have a significant and very healthy lead now in the team's championship, with Strawn well and truly overhauling Salo these 2 races. Quite a surprise, actually. I was expecting Salo to be quite a bit closer.
Yeah, I mean, that may be just one he has to shrug it off and go, well, I didn't quite do as well as I'd hoped. Let's have a go next race. So, you know, he's not far behind him. He obviously lost a bunch of points there, but, you know, a long season, it's still to play for, and he got some decent points anyway. So,
Very true, yes.
Shrug that one off, maybe look back at it somewhere, but focus on the next race.
Absolutely. We're only on round 3 of 17. Our next round will be in Portugal at Portimao, or the Algarve circuit, as I believe it's known. And yeah, it's a superb track. If you want undulation, it's almost like a roller coaster in places. A superb course to race on, and we'll be there in 2 weeks' time. But plenty of racing in between there and now, of course. We'll have Super Cup and Super League following us tomorrow and on Thursday, respectively. So keep an eye on the next levels up in open wheelers there. And we, of course, will have WSS and World GT next Wednesday and Thursday as well, with WSS coming from Portimao. So yes, all sorts of action to be had, and well, some of those taking part in the action this evening, I'm pleased to say, are able to join us now. So just wait for them to join into our little broadcast booth here. But joining us, we'll have Ben Supenik, winner of race 2, Eric Strawn, winner of race 1, and Robert Wiesemuller, who was a factor in both races, I think it's fair to say. So yes, if they could be moved in, that would be very nice. We'll just wait for that to happen. But we're already seeing at this point in the championship that consistency is key, and someone who proved utmost that consistency is key and had an absolutely superb race 1, pleased to say, or race 2, I should say, and well, very good race 1 as well, actually, is Ben Supenik. Huge congratulations, Vince. First win, and in very challenging conditions. Talk us through it.
Well, hi guys, thanks for the great words. Well, I'm very, very tired after this race, and I can't describe how it's like winning in a national championship, so it's amazing to talk about it. Qualification was a little bit hard. I couldn't finish my best lap, and I had another great lap, but sector 3 was quite bad, so I can't or couldn't do anything. So only P7, but somehow at the first 4 laps of the race 1, I could improve some positions, and I found myself on the P1. So it was really amazing to see. But I need to defend against Eric. He was so fast. I started struggling with the car. I don't know why. I had no grip at all at some corners, so it was hard to find pace. and my top speed was very, very bad compared to the others. So only P5. I was really disappointed because I was in P1 too. But race 2, I can't describe it really because at the start I can move up 10 places. I was in P3, I think, after the first lap from P12 or something like that. So it was amazing, and I could catch the others, and I could fight with one of my best friend Balint, and it was a fair battle with good overtakes. So that's why I could win there.
Excellent stuff, and it was a very fair battle, and it was great to watch from our position. And yeah, it was very, very challenging out there today. With obviously we had rain, which obviously always varies things. And how was it from a driving point of view? Did the rain really change the dynamic of how you had to drive the car or approach how you're going to drive the course?
Yeah, it changed a lot. We were on higher wings. We were running with higher wings. So maybe that's why we could, or I could, improve some positions at the start. Because in these long corners, high-speed corners, we were so much faster than the others with Sandeep. So maybe that rain helped us to fight for better positions.
Well, Barcelona, Circuit de Catalunya is a real course of different approaches in wing levels being one in particular, but you absolutely nailed it today. So huge congratulations, Bence. Enjoy the moments, and I'm sure we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the next round in Portimao.
I hope so. Thank you for the great words, mate.
Right, thank you very much. Now joining us, pleased to say, a real factor in both races today is Robert Weisenmuller. Congratulations, Rob. Thank you very much for joining us. Talk us through those races today.
Oh, he's breaking up a little bit, I think.
Unfortunately.
Say thanks to Lars for this. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry, no, just a little bit.
Yeah, apologies.
That's all right.
Well, it was really exciting, these races. I have to say thanks to Xavier for the drive today, and to Lars for the setup. And because it's just one-off drive for me, I tried everything just to get a good position. I pushed really hard, and with the changeable conditions and this car, it was really fun.
And how did he find it? I mean, so we could certainly see. I mean, so Wookkie Hoekstra, you had a great fight with him in the second race. Clearly running quite a bit less wing. How was it to get a great overtake or something done, and all of a sudden you just see him drive straight by you?
And it was going, back and forth, not only with Wopke, but also with Eric before. And there were lots of position changes, but it's a good thing because in these cars you have a lot of draft, and so you're never safe. I mean, when you can't pull off a gap, the next person can attack again on the next straight, and yeah, it was really good, really exciting.
Well, one of those people who you were fighting with has joined us, and winner from race 1, we have Eric Strawn. Eric, you had some great fights with Rob over the 2 races. How was your evening?
Yeah, it was generally quite good. Race 1, I hadn't done any wet practice whatsoever, so seeing it a bit wet was a bit worrying, but then it dried up, and I was like, alright, well, this should be able to, I should be able to overcome this, and then it started raining again. And then while I was leading, Rob and Lars were so much quicker. They were just catching me hand over fist, it felt like. So those last few laps were pretty sweaty, let's call it. But yeah, I still managed to hold Lars off, and then race 2, same story as usual, just avoid people spinning, more or less. And then had a fight with Rob, which we talked before, and I have no hard feelings about it. There was maybe a few tough moves for the back, but he gave me some, I gave him some, so I think it's even there.
Well, good stuff. Now, one thing I certainly noticed, you're absolutely mighty on the brakes, particularly down into turn 1. You're braking a good 2 or 3 car lengths before anyone else, Eric. Was that a focus for you? Were you particularly going, right, okay, turn 1's going to be a really good opportunity. Let's make sure that the car can stop absolutely on a sixpence? Or was that just you driving normally and you were just able to take advantage of people braking early?
It was just me doing my. I knew when to brake, so I braked when I had to to get it stopped and get it through the corner. So there wasn't more thinking than that behind it.
Oh, good stuff. Well, thank you very much both for joining us. Unfortunately, we're going to be running out of time now, but great stuff from you, Eric. You've taken a very strong step forward now in the Drivers' Championship. A good load of points scored for you compared to everyone else around you. And Rob, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for racing this evening. Great stuff. And well, we'll hopefully see you very shortly here at GPVWC. Right, so with that, Phil, any closing thoughts? I mean, it's been a great evening of racing, all sorts of action up and down, and well, weather as well. It's all good.
Yeah, apart from, I think it was good to point out that the kind of starting laps were kind of quite clean and quite fair. I mean, we had a couple of incidents near the end of race 2, but a lot of the field finished, and I think we should be very, very proud of that.
Absolutely, and it's a big grid as well, 40 or so cars, and it's no small achievement to have so many people come home in both races. And why not, Cam? On the cameras this evening, thank you so very much for doing that as always. What was your impressions of this evening? It certainly was a good one to talk about. How about to put cameras on?
I've been kept busy. No, it was very enjoyable to watch. I know I said it before, but it's brilliant racing, action everywhere. Just sorry to anyone if we didn't manage to catch as much of the field as we could have done, but the people in the top 10 sort of thing were doing far too good a job of entertaining us.
And we should also therefore apologise to Wiesenmuller for constantly pronouncing his name wrong throughout the whole broadcast.
You two should
and constantly being
apologise.
shouted at.
I was getting it right. People just can't hear me getting it right.
Yes, every time we said Wiesenmuller, we would hear Wiesenmuller shout it down. So apologies.
Wiesen, it's not Wiesen, it's Wiesen.
Wiesenmuller. I'm going to practice that for the next race.
Oh dear. Yes, my apologies, Rob. Anyway, yeah, I agree. The beautiful thing about Formula Challenge is it's a wonderful platform for people to come along, have some fun racing some cars, and there's always brilliant action to be had. And this year I think is going to be a classic because so many people are so close in terms of pace. There's so much action, and as you say, it's just there's so much to keep up with. So we unfortunately won't have any more action from Formula Challenge for 2 weeks, but we will return in 2 weeks' time at Portimao, and we hope to see you there. Phil, Cam, any closing thoughts before we wrap things up tonight?
Looking forward to Portugal not being an F1 circuit, so something I'm going to have to quickly go read up on. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Excellent stuff. And anything from you, Cam?
No, I just hope that Super Cup tomorrow and Super League on Thursday are as entertaining and clean as Formula Challenge was today.
I wholeheartedly agree. Anyway, so my thanks to all the drivers, Phil, Cam, for partaking this evening as well, and of course to our sponsors and partners. We've got Aurora Designs taking some wonderful pictures, Downforce Radio, of course, partaking in the racing as well, and Volleyball Motorsport sponsoring Formula Challenge. We'll have a few races in their name, and so on and so forth as well. So my thanks to them. Thank you to all of you for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time in Portimao. Thank you and good night.